Welcome back.
It's February 2016, very end of the month, and we're here in Echo Park on a nice Sunday afternoon doing an interview with Egrets on Ergot, my first interview for L.A. ULTRA, the Subversive Culture Zine, and very excited about that. It's a very cool atmosphere here, and we're going to just check it out. All right, it's Sunday afternoon in Echo Park. This is Gabriel Roessler here interviewing Egrets on Ergot for the first time. Very excited about that. If you guys want to just start out by saying your names and the instruments, your personnel.
Okay, well, I'm Heather and I play guitar.
I'm Daniel and I play bass.
Matt, I play drums.
Adam, saxophone and sing.
Very good, very good. All right, I thought maybe we could kind of start at the beginning. I know from reading a little bit about you guys that you guys, friends before you started the band, but if you could kind of tell me when the band formed and how.
They're the two original members, so they should probably take this.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Me and Adam started the band, I think, like 4 or 5 some odd years ago.
At least 5, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so closer to 5 years ago. And we started it with a couple of different people, Constancio, Ali, TJ, Madison, that's right, yeah. So we went through like various different people throughout like the course of 5 years, and I met Adam at a Susie and the Banshees night at the Echo.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
No. The first time I met you was at Dead Boyfriend at the time's house.
Yeah, Jarek's house, who used to be the drummer for Miko Miko.
Jarek.
Yeah.
So and I knew Andrew already.
Yeah.
He was there.
And Rosa brought you there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Andrew from.
Yeah.
Which band should I say?
Who?
Andrew.
Andrew from Remorseless, UCA.
Few bands.
So I met Adam, and then Adam was friends with Jose, who played bass.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't in the beginning. Okay, there's a lot of different members.
Anyway. Like 5 years ago, yeah, she and I started the band.
Yeah.
Mini rhythm section, lineup changes.
Yeah. So we started it, and he kind of just presented it to me in a way of like, oh, I heard you kind of play guitar, like want to do some music stuff, and I was like, sure. And I put guitar down for a long time, so I kind of like didn't keep up with it or develop like a super good musical theory skill or anything like that. So I was kind of just messing around with him, and it took off in a certain direction. And I think that sort of like helped and developed like the sound that we started to create. And then over the course of years, like I met Matt at through special effects makeup, and he was in a band called LaFace that I really liked. And I met him at the school that I attended. And then LaFace was over, and I asked him if he could play drums for my band, or our band, because I really wanted to grab him. and then it worked. And then we met Daniel. Adam met Daniel.
But 2 years ago.
Buying
Almost
juice.
2 years ago, yeah.
Buying a healthy juice.
Yeah, Lassen's. We worked at Lassen's, right?
Yeah, at a grocery store.
Yeah. So, and then Daniel just so happened to be like a magical noise maker, music intelligent, amazeball.
Go on.
and then he joined the band and added a whole different like level of things. So, because it went from like, well, outside of Matt, he's played for a really long time, I feel like it went from like a bunch of musicians that had no idea what the fuck they were doing to developing into like grabbing other people that had like an idea and then like sort of forming into what was already like
collegiates.
He actually wrote our songs out in notation, and I've never seen that done before, and I was kind of impressed and surprised.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we actually make that? Wow. That's
One of the first things he said was like kind of what correct me if I'm wrong, what attracted him about the band joining it was just that though, that we were kind of like on the opposite end of the spectrum as him, the people that he hung out with and so. Right?
Well, I wouldn't say the opposite.
yeah, I come from a music theory background, but I also studied noise. And so for me, I've always kind of had an open ear for all kinds of things, and kind of a skepticism toward what's considered talent. And so for me, talent isn't about technique and how fast you can play and how slow you can play, or that doesn't make sense, but you know, how many notes you can play per second. For me, it depends on well, first of all, I don't...
Dynamic.
Yeah, I'm more interested in dynamic than any kind of talent. So for me, I'm more interested in kind of the cultural experience, you want to call it that, bringing people together. And I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that Egrets already had a following. I just listened to the music and I thought, I can work with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out super cool because I feel like if you were just like a super classically trained musician that
MI
didn't
person.
really, yeah, that it wouldn't have worked.
Not an MI person.
Yeah, I'm not a classically
Put that out.
trained musician exactly, but I'm a classically trained theorist. Which,
He knows all the
Roll
specifics.
science.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
So
what
anyway,
it is.
let's do the next one.
Well, that's actually, yeah, that
Is
actually
that
segues me into the next question. I was curious, what it's like for you guys, to be a band in LA like today. What's that like for you guys, and what are you kind of like trying to transcend through your music?
Well, it's different than when I was playing music in like the early 2000s. The scene drastically has changed because kids are now, adults or, adult children. And they actually have businesses now, and a lot of them have opened their own record labels, and some of those record labels have completely skyrocketed. Great for them. But and it's changed, kind of. It's changed the atmosphere a little bit. Like it's because everyone was kind of just this one gigantic unit before, playing in different styles within that umbrella, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But now things have kind of been pigeonholed a little bit. Like certain labels have certain focuses, which makes sense. But a lot of them have kind of started this like revolution that's kind of taken over because kind of taken over the fact that they have so much power now that they have media coverage.
Yeah.
And it's kind of made the scene seem kind of one-sided, and like everything is now like jangle pop, or everything now is going back to the 60s.
Yeah.
And we're kind of trying to go against that and kind of go in the opposite direction and bring back like the dynamic side of things, like atmosphere and different time changes and like just things that are kind of falling by the wayside right now. We're kind of doing like the fringe stuff. I always like fringe music, so I want to continue to do fringe music.
Yeah.
It's just we're trying to build up our own core of people that are like-minded like us and don't want to fall into the whole other media circus of the burger records, I guess you could say. Sorry guys.
I think in terms of a broad Los Angeles weirdo scene that we're tangentially a part of. Like there's the Hyperion Tavern Wednesday night scene, and we're kind of like the young kids version of that.
Yeah.
And if you go to the Honey Trap, you kind of get that feel. We're kind of part of that scene. Like we play with those people, we know all of those people, and by knowing those people, really it just means that it's like a big party.
It became like a big unit, a big collective.
Yeah.
Of more similar like-minded people. It's kind of like
And not like-minded people, but they're still
mixed media too.
getting along.
Media.
And I think in the
Creative
arena they're
people.
talking about right now, as opposed to like maybe the other thing that you're saying, what's kind of like
a machine kind of
popular,
like
like
a
the jangle pop
factory.
stuff and 60s, throwback
Popping
stuff.
out glitter
There's
and
probably
denim.
more a wider variety of ideas being tossed around back and forth, even outside of music in the scene that we're playing a lot.
It's kind of
in the adverse.
yeah. It's kind of it kind of echoes more to like
Or
what.
diversity. I'd say.
Yeah, like I guess it would echo more of what was going on at like the Hong Kong cafe and then like the Chinatown scene rather than what was
Okay.
going on more in like Hollywood. I guess if you want to talk about like
Understand.
history, like more the Oingo Boingo, Catholic discipline, be people kind of route rather than like
Yeah.
you know Germs, Dickies,
Mhm.
you know all that great stuff. It's just like you know the weirder side of
Yeah.
the spectrum.
Wow, you're going back to the 80s.
to, man.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
this is
what-
Madam
it's-
Bass. He's the punk encyclopedia on feet.
There you
Just
go.
so you know.
Culture.
Well, it's like taking everything you're influenced by and putting your own twist on
A big
it.
old blender.
So
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
next?
But
We're making culture. Nobody sounds like us. We don't sound exactly like anybody.
No one knows how to really describe us, really.
Yeah.
and I like that about it.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
we're a gray area, and that's kind of cool.
yeah, I like that people can't really pinpoint like what category to put us under. I feel like that's like it's too easy. It's too like boring almost for my taste in terms of like what I want to do musically anyway. I mean, it's fine for other people and I like a lot of things that are just like this is punk,
Yeah.
this is that.
Yeah.
But my personal opinion on like the LA music scene, which is like I feel like because LA is such a big city and there's so many different bubbles of things going on
Mhm.
that I kind of like ours is our own little bubble. Like there's other bands that I have no idea what the hell they are and they like play at these places. You know what I mean? There's like
yeah.
everyone's kind of in a band it seems like. And there's a lot of musicians out here and it's like I wish that like as in terms of people that like are into the things that we're into or stuff like that, like I want it to grow more. Like I want it to become bigger. I think that it could. I think that I see it like steering in that direction. I think if we all kind of like stick together and don't get like competitive and
Yeah.
stuff like that, it could be a really cool scene. And I think it's starting to develop more that way with places like the
Yeah.
Honey Trap and Non
Yeah.
Plus Ultra and like all these DIY places
That are
that
more
people
art
are
bent.
starting. And it's like like the art kids.
Did you
Yeah,
say DUI
it's kind of like the.
places?
DIY.
They're kind of,
Did I say DIY?
it's kind of like they're reinventing like the whole like New York no wave scene, but they're bringing it to like the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I like this scene more because it focuses less on like big music festivals with like $8 PBRs and like you know $30 T-shirts to more like an art show with a bunch of bands playing and maybe a few performance artists thrown in and everyone kind
Yeah.
of pulls their own you know
Yeah, let's
function.
rules.
Yeah,
I think
less rules.
we're trying to help be a part of
No legal paperwork.
of something that like you know an expansive thing that doesn't have as many rules as some of the other like scenes that might be considered underground.
Some
Still.
very
Yeah.
There's
contrived.
still like there's still like structures and
Mhm.
you know things to abide by,
Yeah.
which
They always start
I'm
out
trying to
so honest, but
build
then
up the
yeah,
standards.
they always start out so
Greed.
honest, and then they start to
Right.
get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then
Yeah.
more money, more problems.
What about
Yeah.
making even more money? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about like your connection with Paul Roessler? Like,
No.
Who? Sorry.
I know. I know. Is it true? I mean, he did he record and produce your first record?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that- Okay. So
he's
how
done
did
a
that
lot
come
for
about?
us. He's a very, very wonderful person.
Yeah.
Well, The Face, when Matt was in there, recorded Paul.
And Giza X.
Mhm.
Back in
So-
2004, I think 5.
So when we were gonna record our record, we thought about who we wanted to do it, and we never had any sort of like record label help.
Okay.
Not at that point, or very limited now even. And so we thought like, well, we want like a name, someone like cool that you know we're influenced by and stuff like that. And he brought up Paul. We went there and met him, and he was just really fucking awesome and helped us out a lot. Gave us like a good
Exceeded our
price.
expectations
Yeah.
vastly.
And fell in love with us, to which I'm super grateful for, and I
did
think
not think that was gonna
we're
happen.
super lucky about. He fell like completely in love with us, and still helps us to this day, even more so now.
He's a member of our band too.
And he plays with us, and he plays on our record, and
And he's just a really good friend to all of us.
yeah,
We're all really good
Good
friends.
Yes.
personally.
musical mentor.
yeah,
He has
yeah.
great
He's
musical theory. He has a
yeah.
great. He has a great ear.
musical mentor,
Great
just in
musical
life.
intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's given Adam like the thing that he uses now for his vocals and gotten
A little mixer.
a little mixer.
Yeah, just a little mixer. That was nice.
He's gotten us different musical projects too, of like
Mhm.
playing, like I know Daniel's played bass on different things and
Yeah.
He got he helped get our music published.
yeah,
Oh.
Which Adam now works for that company.
he has.
Yeah.
You got me a job.
It's true, he did a huge job.
Got this boy a job.
I think he
everything
was
that man
trying to
can
push our record on Henry Rollins at one point. I'm not sure if he actually heard it yet.
Oh,
Jill will be on there, too.
Yeah, and Jello.
Yeah.
He said he was.
How'd that go?
I
I don't know if he
don't
heard
know.
it.
I want to send it to Jello,
Yeah.
and then I asked Paul if I
We're
should
waiting,
do that, and he was
Henry.
like, yeah.
Waiting.
He
Yeah.
doesn't give a
I
fuck.
So we'll see. Maybe
I
some
saw you
people
fall
follow
asleep
that.
at the Perubu show too, by the way.
Why do you think he's gonna be watching that? Henry Rollins. You guys know him?
I've talked to him before. I actually
Yeah.
just
No, thank you.
for no reason I really can understand. I wrote him a letter last year on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna write someone a fucking letter.
He
He
responds.
responded. So
He did respond?
yeah.
That's
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, he's a pretty easygoing guy.
I wrote him too to interview him, and he said, "Sorry, I don't have time." So he wrote me back, and I was happy about that. I didn't
We used
take
to
it
bug him.
Yeah.
When Pat Fear from White Flag, Bill Bartell, rest
Yeah.
in peace, died. His one wish to my buddy Kent, who works at Radiation Records, was in my old band Friendly Neighbors.
Uh-huh.
His wish to us was to annoy Henry Rollins to no end about playing the Henry VIII rendition
Uh-huh.
that Bill Bartell made up about Henry Rollins on the air. And we weren't allowed to stop until he told us that he would sue us.
Oh god.
It didn't get that far. I lost interest, but it was pretty funny for a while.
That's pretty good.
Sorry, Henry.
He can take it. So, do you want to talk about your recent music videos? I know you guys shot some new stuff.
I wanna
Yeah,
see the
totally.
videos to that.
We have one that just got finished for the song Raven's Ravine that
Ooh,
we're
cool.
gonna.
For a while.
Yeah, it's been a work in progress for like almost a year, I think, maybe
More
a
than
year.
that. More than that.
Yeah, maybe
A
like
year.
a year and a half.
A year?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
A year.
It seems like more than that. Sorry.
We shot it in
About
January.
a year. Yeah.
We shot it in January.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna release that hopefully sometime in the next like month or so.
Mhm.
But it took so long because we had to try to find an animator, to which we have no money, to which they had to do it for free. So
Mm-hmm.
Made it
that
a
was a
little
little
hard.
rough. And animation takes a long time.
Yeah.
So,
Buddy
but
Ashkan did it, and it looks pretty awesome, I must say.
Yeah.
We
It's
told
pretty
him.
psychedelic.
We told him to echo something between a Butthole Surfers music video and Ralph Bakshi images, and
Wow. Hey.
delivered.
To me, it
Alright.
reminds me of Liquid Television.
Or Liquid
Mhm.
Television,
It's
yes. I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I wanna see
It's
this
all.
video.
It's like motion or live action or
Mm-hmm.
you know real
Oh,
stuff.
you like the
with-
rotoscoping kind
It's
of?
not exactly
with
rotoscope.
animation.
It's kind of like new age rotoscope,
Yeah.
like digital.
That's cool.
It's not just a completely animated video. It's,
No.
It's,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both.
it's like accented with animation. So it's-
Neat. So when those come out, where can we see them?
I mean, they're gonna be everywhere. YouTube, and I'm
Okay.
sure. We're
Our website.
yeah.
It just got finished, so I guess we have to have a release
Yeah, we're working
moment
on.
or something.
We're working
Yeah.
on something
Yeah.
to release it. Just
Well, I
so
think the
it
next
gets
one will be a more-
places.
We could probably show it at a show.
Yeah.
Show like after
Yeah.
We just shot a second video about a month ago, and that's being edited right
That one
Okay.
had, we took a little more time with. We had a little bit of a budget to work with from our
Mhm.
last tours. So we had some. It has props. It has multiple locations,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully
One of them was here.
one of them was here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. What song's that for?
It's for
Choke
Round
on
Die,
Round
Die.
Choke on Round Die, which is also both those songs are on the EP.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
Yeah. Definitely want to try to
Cool.
get more into that media in the future and have more strange imagery to go along with our songs.
Yeah.
mhm.
That's
Be more of a
good.
full effect.
Yeah, I feel like it's
I like
important.
doing music videos.
It takes a long time. It takes a lot out of you, but I want to continue to crank those out whenever possible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Let's see here. Oh, well, you mentioned tour. I wanted to ask if you guys have any good, like, tour nightmare, look back and laugh on it now kind of thing?
Yeah, that's
Like,
I don't know if I want to tell that one.
You know what I mean?
There's, oh man, there's a million of them.
all right.
You can't. I feel like you can't go on a tour and there not be like some kind of crazy.
It's
events.
where you get some of your best
And I like
stories
that.
from.
Yeah.
I love that about it.
Yeah, that's
You
where
know
you
what
get some
I
of your
mean?
best
There was
stories
the
from.
time I thought I was gonna run out of gas.
Yeah.
The time you couldn't poop.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah. There.
That happens a lot on tour. Let's say.
One time Adam wouldn't get out of the van, and then we played one of the most amazing shows like ever.
We had to fix him
One of my
some
favorite shows.
strange concoction.
I wasn't being like
No.
I wasn't being a little shit. I was just, I
He had an edible.
ate some like really strong cannabis edibles.
It's
San
yeah,
Francisco.
at Dolores Park.
I underestimated, yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, oh nice.
We bought psychedelics.
And I was
for the-
like
for the
really
day.
like kind of catatonic.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, just
I
not
heard he needed
in
an
a good
elixir.
state.
Felt horrible.
Yeah, he needed an
Yeah.
elixir.
He was just like in a crazy state of mind.
Yeah.
One of those like I've had those trips before where it's like
It took too much.
yeah, you don't want to like.
It was
The
horrible.
last thing you would
My-
want to do is like be in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, in my mind, I was like, I really want to. I don't want to, you know. I wanted to go in and do it, but my body wasn't letting me.
Well, I remember I had
was
to
gonna
walk you.
throw
I had
up.
to walk you around the block and give you like a pep talk. Like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah,
do this.
That's right.
Well, so we
Things are not
finally
fucked.
got him out of the van.
No.
No, that was Tenderloin, I think. No, where
Yeah,
was it was vacation,
Vacation.
vintage. That was Tenderloin.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Tenderloin.
Yeah.
Wonderful place.
I remember because there was this bun that kept getting close to my brother's face, and I wanted to punch him.
Yeah, can I just like float around in there and walk inside and then leave and then it's
Yeah.
really strange.
Well, so we finally
a
got
good
him out of the van, and then
Yes.
we played at
Yeah.
Vacation, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
There
it was pretty
like,
intense.
The show was so great, and there was like people were going crazy. There was like some guy meditating to us, and
That
it
was-
was like he was just sitting there like
It's a good
in
photo.
his
In the
style,
lotus
like,
position.
There's a
Yeah.
there's a photo. This guy had like
Joint.
in the lotus position with like I think it was probably like a joint or something in his mouth like this, and someone took a photo. It might have been my girlfriend Chelsea, but basically like you see all this chaos around him, like legs and arms and like just all these disembodied parts, and then just him like in the middle of it, not being like completely unscathed from everything that's going on around him.
Mhm.
It's a pretty silly and cool picture. So
It's pretty
I don't know.
weird.
I feel like the best times of tour always come out of like the crazy mayhem.
Oh,
like
yeah.
even on our last one with Daniel, we one of our shows got canceled
Mhm.
in San Antonio, Texas, and last minute like calling a bunch of people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Booked one at this like really awesome bar called Faust Tavern.
Mhm.
It was like a little like punk bar, gothy
Yeah.
thing in San Antonio, which was like an amazing city. Turns out.
Cool.
Really, really
Turns
good,
out.
really good taste. They had some really, really excellent stuff there.
Yeah, and then we played a show there, and that was one of my favorite ones on that tour.
Yeah, we at one
So-
point like Heather fell into my kit and knocked over one of my cymbals, and the cymbal, I don't know, it must have like chopped something electrical,
Sparks
but like
Oh, shit.
huge
yeah.
huge sparks from a cable
Yeah.
just like
Whoa.
flew behind me. I don't know if that was
While that was
electrical,
happening,
but-
I was hanging from the rafter in a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sold
And-
that place on.
Yeah.
And it was yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was holding the microphone with my feet, I think.
Yeah.
And trying to play it
little
with the
monkey.
saxophone.
Yeah.
Man, I really hope
Around.
that someone took a picture of that.
Yeah.
I was
Fun.
stone
There's a few
sober.
photos of it.
Was
And
that
then-
our first show?
Yeah, that was our first show
First
at
show of the tour.
yeah,
Yeah.
first show on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the first destination because we stopped in Tucson and then
Yeah.
we kept going. No, we stopped in Phoenix and kept going.
So
And then we played that show in Austin.
Which one?
Popper Burn.
Oh,
Oh man,
It wasn't
That
a
was-
disaster.
the Austin. No, it was
That
great.
was
The
so
Austin.
awesome.
But wasn't
It
did
was
you ask about a
like-
disaster?
No, it's highlights though.
Oh,
You know,
These are highlights.
things that you like. I've been on the road a few times, and I just think
Yeah.
like, sometimes in those moments, like it's so frustrating, but then later you're just like, it's the greatest
totally.
story ever.
Part
You
of
know?
the trying to get some artists
We actually
to
really
like-
got along
Oh.
with each other. We didn't have any
Our first
problems.
tour up, our driver fell asleep and almost sent us careening
That's
into
right.
into
Oh,
a center
yeah.
divider.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like a van, a
messy.
really old shitty van.
It was a
from,
soccer
like,
mom van
Yeah.
with a tow hitch on it that wasn't supposed to be
one
there.
mirror that like
That was-
you couldn't
Oh,
use, and
It
like
was
going.
towing something that was like way maxing out the RPMs and that.
We
Yeah,
also
it's
disappeared in
really-
Portland for a night.
Well,
Yeah.
that was that.
Also,
Yeah.
on
That
the
was a
way
little
to on the
kerfuffle.
way to Portland through
That's the
Mount
kind of kerfuffle we're
Shasta,
talking
this
about.
van could only
What's
go
that
like
kerfuffles? What type of
5
kerfuffles?
miles per hour. Like, so it took us like
Shit.
20 hours or something.
Yeah, it
crazy
was
to
pretty
get to
agonizing.
Portland.
I've had some pretty
And
rough
we had
tours, but that
Andrew,
one was pretty.
Kyle,
Ooh.
and
Yeah,
Ryan
we had
in the van.
sleeves. It was
With a
yeah.
trailer, any time you have a trailer involved, it just exacerbates things just like that much more.
Well, some
Yeah.
of the shows that we played in Portland, we went out and like partied after the show, right?
Yeah.
And so the driver got way too wasted, like ended up passing
Puking.
out and puking in the parking lot. And then the bass player that we had at the time, Rachel, she wanted to go like sleep in the van. So when we were all done like partying and stuff, we went back to where the van was supposed to be parked, and it was missing.
God, no Rachel, no Ben.
Yeah, and we were like, oh
Our
fuck.
poor little
And
Rachel.
we tried to call them numerously, but they were both passed out.
Yeah.
So we had no idea where the fuck everything was and what we
We
were
were walking around
gonna
Portland
do.
all night.
It ended up
Oh,
that,
man.
Aimlessly.
the van was actually towed with them in it.
Yeah.
And then he woke
Whoa.
up mid-tow and started yelling and screaming, and the guy just dropped, like, oh, we got a live one, and then just like dropped him off. and then they literally drove around the corner from where we were all hanging out and partying. We had no idea. Like if we just crossed the freaking bridge in downtown Portland,
We
like
would've
we would have
seen
been
it.
there. Yet we took
Yeah.
a $40 cab ride, like all
Yeah.
around, like
That's
fucking
good.
like northeast or northwest Portland or wherever the hell we were at that point
That's funny.
to find them.
Yeah. So,
Then things were fine.
yeah.
That was an interesting tour, though.
It was an interesting tour.
We jackknifed a few times in that thing in San Francisco. Never drive with a trailer in San Francisco if you can avoid it. It's terrible. Oh man. But yeah. Other than that,
Well, we also
It
had
was pretty
that time that we went to Jawbone Canyon.
Oh, that
It wasn't
was
exactly tour, but it was
Yeah.
a long distance.
Yeah.
It was.
yeah, we
And
it's the middle of Death Valley, like miles into a canyon.
Ooh.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
some weird like festival thing,
Yeah.
and we
That
were
was really
all
cool.
pretty intoxicated for that.
Everyone-
And it was kind
Yeah.
of amazing.
Yeah,
It was
there's a
neat,
really
yeah.
amazing thing about playing somewhere in the middle of the desert with a
Generator
bunch of
shows.
people on psychedelics and just having
Yeah.
a good like party time and like playing in a weird spot.
Yeah.
I
I've-
hated
I
it
love
though,
that.
but
I've
it was-
never
it was
seen
Daniel
a
hates the
computer
desert.
completely set up in the middle of the desert on a generator like LA Drones did. That was pretty
Oh, yeah.
amazing. They had a whole
Yeah.
like computer
Wow.
set up in the middle of nowhere, off like
Yeah,
running
it was
off like a
great
gas
on that,
generator.
too.
It was
It was
badass.
it was pretty awesome. I've never seen anything like that. before.
Ladrones.
Ladrones.
Yeah.
From Spain.
Yeah.
Wonderful people.
Cool. Well, got a couple more. Switch gears a little bit. Was curious, like, what deaths, like, in the music world have affected you guys?
Oh
Like,
man,
Oh.
there's been so many.
You know.
recently.
Well, we were all practicing together in our little space, and everybody's phone went off kind of at the same time, and we're like, oh, David Bowie just died.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think all of Ben Rock
that's
rehearsal
the
kind of had a
most,
moment.
definitely the most recent thing, and like, but yeah, it was just kind of interesting that we were all like we're writing our newest songs
Yeah.
that we're working on right now.
Yeah.
But, so that happened when we were all together.
Yeah. It was kind of strange
Yeah.
because like
Everybody
it's
got released.
it kind of seemed like everyone in that building kind of stopped what they were doing for a second and kind of just looked around like, what do we do now? It was
Yeah.
kind of like one of those huge like epiphanies, like, oh my god, like because I'm pretty sure no one thought that man would ever pass away. Everyone kind of thought he was kind of an immortal, but you know, he's a god. Gods don't die.
Daniel got really like sullen.
Yeah, I was kind of affected by the Bowie thing because yeah, I remember I made a joke in the 90s about I had said that David Bowie should have died in the 70s. He'd be huge. And, you know, this was after, you know, Nirvana had done their cover of "The Man Who Sold the World," which I thought was such a great song
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that the Bowie song could never be as good, even though I hadn't heard it at the time. And then when I finally heard it, it's like, wow, this song really is amazing, no matter who does it. And so, from that time, Bowie had become kind of an important part of just studying his stuff. Theoretically, from a music standpoint, it's very sophisticated. Visually, she's a complete weirdo with the hockey haircut. What do you call it? The mullet. And he just went through so many different guises over the years. Tried so many different things. The month I was born, September '76. There's a Playboy issue that has this great interview with David Bowie, where he talks about the merits of fascism. It's just later he said that he disavowed that article, but it's just such a fascinating character to me.
Yeah,
Someone who's like
definitely
always
one of a kind.
And then like his influence on Bowie and Bowie's on Reznor and Reznor's influence on him, that was really intriguing to me. It's just he was a character who was just constantly changing things just a little bit, and even like his last record kind of reminds me. Parts of it remind me of Disintegration from The Cure, 1989.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that can be, like everything you said kind of would be an answer to which musicians may have like affected us in general, like their being has affected us rather than death.
Yeah.
I think specifically like the David Bowie death, the death affected me maybe more than these guys, and I think maybe his life and his music affected them more than me.
Okay.
But it wasn't. Yeah, I've always
Just
been
make
thought he was a
sure
cool
about
dude and everything.
Yeah.
But that weekend after he died, I just like one night just tripped acid by myself, listening to like 5 or 6 albums back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I would have done that at that time had he not died earlier in the week. And
Yeah.
that was like one of the best evenings of the last few years I've had by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think we were all pretty affected by it. And it was cool that we were all together when we found out. So it's...
Mm-hmm.
You can't discount Lemmy Kilmister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
was sad when I
whatever.
wanted to see
But everyone kind of saw that one coming. I really hope that someone saved that mole and it ends up in the Museum of Death. It just sounds so perfect. Like that's really how he should be remembered.
It's got
Like,
some room.
Just save it, slice it, I'm sure it exists somewhere. So.
Yeah.
Although I did watch the video footage of Lemmy's funeral, and
Oh, yeah.
strangely, the Dave Grohl up there talking, to which I'm not like the biggest fan of like any of that, but it really like affected me because he was talking about how Lemmy really liked Little Richard, and how he was gonna give him like a signed photo that he got for his birthday.
Yeah.
And just like kind of balled up, and I was like, no.
No one likes to see
But
that. No one
yeah.
likes to see that.
I'm old enough to have really been affected by Cobain also, because I graduated high school the year that he croaked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little before my time, but I definitely I
Yeah.
feel your pain.
Yeah. That was a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the biggest.
One of the last great bands to make it big for just being themselves and not compromising one bit.
Mm.
So,
Almost
yeah,
funny.
except for almost. It's alright.
But also complaining about compromising.
Yes.
too.
It's alright. In utero changed everything.
Yes. Yeah, the very
They
first
changed
lyrics.
everything. It's fine.
Teenage angst.
that was their
Well, I'm bored and old.
vengeance. Vengeance was theirs. It's great.
All right. Any other people you want to talk about with that one, or?
Well, actually, there was a band that I've gotten into in recent years that I thought were really, really incredible, called Red Wedding. They were like a
Red
local
Wedding.
death rock band, really
Sure.
amazing, kind of really overlooked. And I heard rumors. We know one of the guys that.
What is it, Roy?
Yeah, Roy, who played guitar. He was also in a band called The Beast of Beast.
Yeah.
Who were really amazing.
Okay.
But he was the guitarist, and he said that they were going to have a reunion show. It was like their last show because Spider, their singer, has been terminal for a while.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he couldn't make it to the show, and then he died like 2 days later or something like that. That was a big letdown because that band is really amazing, and if no one has heard them, like that kind of inspired me to do a lot of what I've like trying to push Egrets in a certain direction. Like their stuff is very, very dynamic, and they have all these amazing parts to their songs. They don't really care about going over the margin, the 3-minute mark in songs. Like as long as it's interesting, they'll just go with it. And I thought they were amazing, and I thought that was really sad too. And no one really, and it's also kind of sad that no one really knows who they are, and people should check them out. They just had their anthology released on a record label too.
Ooh,
So
I have to check that. Yeah, no, I love Red Wedding. Really good.
amazing.
Do you guys? Is there anything that I haven't covered that you guys want to kind of talk about?
Yeah, I think you should
right now?
talk about. You should ask us. I think you should ask. You should ask us about the bands that are that we play with and that we love that are in our scene.
Well,
In our scene.
question 7: what bands do you like to watch live?
Oh, that's
Oh,
you're still going. You got more.
We
I got
had
a
more.
couple. But
Oh, there's more.
That's good.
Well,
tell me about that.
I think we
Terminal
all.
Day.
Yeah. Terminal
That's our
Oh,
sister
okay.
band.
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, I'm dating the singer.
Oh. Yeah, I like Terminal.
It's a very
She's
sensual
dating the
relationship.
guitarist.
I'm dating the
He's
drum
dating the
machine.
I'm dating the bassist.
Terminal Day.
Ladrones.
L.A. Ladrones.
Jonas, French Vanilla, who I like
Yeah.
a lot.
Native Fauna, Zawa,
Gorgon
Zoloft,
Panther.
Panther,
High Functioning Flash.
He plays guitar in Panther as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he does.
Dangerous.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Sellers.
I love Gun Slasher
Sellers.
or Gun Slash Her. That's
Oh,
excellent.
Gunner,
These
Gunner,
bands.
yeah, Gunner.
She's amazing. She's got-
Prettiest Eyes.
Prettiest Eyes.
Yes, the prettiest
The
eyes.
Prettiest Eyes.
And we're friends with this band Coming that hasn't played in a bit,
Yeah.
but a few years ago they were playing here and there, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
Sextile.
Style.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Sextile.
Vows.
Vows. Yeah. So
Yeah, Vows is from
All Your
Australia.
Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They're like synthesizer, they're electronic dark wave.
Cool.
Yeah,
They're
there's a band I just came across from San Francisco that plays now called All Your Sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Well, we're only talking about Los Angeles.
There's a
But they've
band
been down here a
I saw the other day called Sister Montos, who I think are an LA based band who are really, really cool. Very
I've yet to see
dancey.
them.
Yeah, they're very dancey. We hope to
Yeah.
Cool.
get a show with them in the future.
Sackcloth and Axes.
Sackcloth and Axes. Mr.
There's
Ricky
a-
Douglas.
Wilton's bands.
Yeah, Vertighost.
Vertighost.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Vertighost.
I'm sure there's some
I hope
forgetting.
we're not missing too many people.
Probably.
I'm
Orphan Goggles. There's
Orphan Goggles.
Orphan Googles.
Yeah. Quee.
I mean, Harry Cloud is just
Harry Cloud's
fucking
amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's a music
He's amazing.
genius.
Harry Cloud.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an angry at the world music genius.
Yeah.
So don't
Who
get
loves
in
the
his way.
Melvins and the Butthole Surfer?
Don't get in his way. He'll be plowed over.
Yeah.
Sonic assault.
Yeah. He's,
So Harry Cloud is in Orphan Goggles. And Harry Cloud is a whole like idea and concept of his own too. Is his solos.
and
Yeah.
then
Sons of the Bitch.
Sons of the Bitch were awesome,
Awesome
weren't they?
birthday.
Oh,
They're
so
a party
good.
band.
Sons of the Bitch. Yes.
Mhm.
Ass
And
Life.
um,
Like sex.
Sons of the Bitch has a guitar player named Kyle, who's one of my favorite local guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
Like
Yeah, he's
in
amazing.
like the punk scene and everything.
And then
I really like his stuff.
Noel.
Mod
What are they
Pods.
called?
Mod
Things on
Pods.
Fur.
Mod
Things
Pods
on
are a
Fur.
fantastic band.
We're just
We're just gonna keep going.
I
You have to
know,
look
you're
at every name though, okay?
Click,
You
click.
can't cut any of these fucking names out. Mod Pods are a trio that's very close to my heart. I
Yeah.
discovered them.
It's
You
true.
did.
The Kibitz Room in Hollywood. 1976.
I think it was with you.
No. I was
I think I've
with
seen those
Jose.
too. Ooh, wow, that's a
Jose
long
and I
time ago.
found them for ourselves. And Mod Pods are one of my favorites in Los Angeles too. And they've been playing longer than all these bands we've been naming off. They've been playing for like 10 years, but
They have.
I
in the
got
past
Things
couple
on
years.
Fur though.
Huh?
Yeah.
Things on
Oh yeah, they've been around for a
February.
long time.
They've been around for a long time as well.
Yeah. Thank them for another
Everyone think
like
it's
death
amazing.
rocky gothy.
Yeah.
And Mod Pod's is just a weird, quirky, electro, dancey.
Okay.
I don't know.
They kind of remind me of Romeo Void.
They're pretty.
Uh-huh.
I don't know yet. I don't. They don't sound exactly like anything ever.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
dancey. It's very like soulful at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, but it still has like
Has
a
a
good
little
like
touch
funky
of that
post
riot
punk.
girl ESG element to it.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has like the ESG element. It still has
That's
kind
cool.
of like the dancey like post punk kind of feel to it too, though.
Mhm.
It's really good.
Mod Pods.
Mod
Pods.
good stuff.
Yeah, they're really.
I think that covers
Cool.
the majority of it.
Yeah, there's
I hope.
probably a few.
Sorry
others.
guys if we missed anybody.
Well, I think I got everything I need. Any last words? Anything?
Well, maybe when are you planning on releasing this?
That's sex.
It's a
So.
good question.
I would talk about future shows, but if it's irrelevant.
It's probably going to be a month or two, I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
Possibly.
Yeah. We're currently recording
Hopefully soon.
some new stuff.
Yeah,
we'll
we're-
have an LP out.
We're working on
I
our
don't know.
first full-length album right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No idea when that'll be out. We're still making songs for it, but we did our first
It's
session.
it's
our
almost like
first group
halfway
of songs.
done, I think.
We have a lot of songs that are kind of on the back burner that we're still churning out,
Mhm.
but we have like we're kind of doing them in groups, because each one of us like has kind of come up with like a group of songs, and we're kind of going through them like a few a little bit at a time, and we'll probably do like 3 or 4 songs, and we get them down pretty well, and then we go in and try to record those, and then keep going until we're spent. But
Cool.
we're gonna we have a potential release coming up with we want to do a split 7-inch with Terminal A that we're in talks about getting done.
Cool.
It'll contain 2
Yeah.
covers from
Well,
From the normal.
it's a cover of that single.
the
Oh,
the,
really?
same-
A and B
the
side
normal
of Warm Leatherette.
the normal
Yeah.
Are we supposed
Plus one other like song from.
So-
And then
each of us.
one
band
original,
will put
one
one of their
cover.
own on either side as well.
yeah.
So
Cool.
it's split 7-inch with Terminal A, to which we're also touring with Terminal A
Oh.
in the next month or so,
Yeah.
and then up the coast, and then
To
we're working
Canada.
on a full-length album that we're gonna release too. So I feel
Great.
like it's important.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Much more to come.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
Woo!
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.